Sam Darnold and talk about him because truly it's the best storyline going, okay? We didn't really totally get a chance, and I gotta tell you, not only has he had the best stretch of any quarterback in the entire NFL over these last 2 seasons, but this boring Super Bowl capped off really one of the best stretches of quarterbacks ever had in back-to-back seasons. We like to find those little moments of history and celebrate them. And this is one of them, including the playoffs. Sam's won 31 games over the last 2 seasons. He is a winner. That's tied with Favre, as you're seeing. That's tied with Mahomes for the 4th most in NFL history over a 2-year period. The only guy to win more, the guys really, sorry, Terry Bradshaw, legend. Tom Brady, legend. We're talking Hall of Fame company across the board. And of course, he's the only guy on this list that played for 2 different teams in the process, so that's a little something that makes him unique and stand out. I said coming into this Super Bowl that Sam's a top 10 quarterback in this league, regardless of what happened in the boring action on Sunday this past week in the Bay Area. And if you had any doubts that I was right, like this kind of cements it, doesn't it? And seeing the company that he's keeping with these best stretches that he's got going on. I also didn't get to touch on yesterday. And maybe we will with Ben, and maybe we even will with Quentin, as far as like, he's got a great GM in Les Snead who locked him up for the next 3 years, and I'm excited about that. But Seahawks GM John Schneider, now just one of 3 general managers to win multiple Super Bowls with 2 different quarterbacks from the same franchise. We have dug in, and by we I mean Hamilton, the sick pup, and he's wondering, and I'm wondering, we talked about it this morning in our show meeting, what do we do with this guy? Like, where do we put him in the context of other great GMing in history or in that generation since the 2010 vibe where he's come to? Because there are some layers, and I'm going to lay some things out for everybody to think about this morning as they get back to work after this amazing Super Bowl. For this game, in this, like, I guess, like, window, in a vacuum, as the kids say, I can't get over how quickly he turned the roster over for this game to happen and for them to win the way that they did. 7 starters, guys, from Sunday. 7 guys you saw on the field. Just 7 were in the Seahawks final game a year ago. 7 roster-wide, okay? That's crazy. And while guys on the field starter-wide. While the additions of vets like Sam Darnold, DeMarcus Lawrence, that helps push this roster over the top. He really laid the groundwork with incredible drafts. We got Kenneth Walker and Witherspoon and JSN and Zabel and co. all added over the last couple of Aprils, which leads to just how incredible this man's been when it comes to draft day. And I'd like to present to you an all John Schneider draft pick team that we've compiled to put this into perspective for you. Take a look at this from across his 15 years as Seahawks GM. We'll start with the offense. Pretty special, right? And again, this doesn't even include any of his free agents. Or Doug Baldwin, by the way, who he signed after he went undrafted. What a pick that was. Let's not forget that guys like Kenneth Walker and DK and JSN, obviously Russell, those were guys he had to take swings on, big swings. But when it gets really fun is on the defensive side of the ball. I submit the all-Schneider draft team defense. Where do you begin? First ballot Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner? As a second rounder, what a steal. I challenge anyone to match the secondary talent this man's drafted. Really, who's drafted better when it comes to the Shermans, the Chancellors? Those are 5th-round picks. Hard to leave guys like Reek Woolen, Kobe Bryant off the lips, by the way. So this is an all-star team that he hath drafted. And you combine that with the buttons he's pushed. When it comes to these bets, are you kidding me? These are the top 5 moves, at least as far as the Up and Adams opinion goes. Draft, signed Darnold, took him away, big risk, a lot of grief, a lot of fans being like, what? We have Gino! The trade for Marshawn Lynch, one of the best ever. Leonard Williams deal 2 years ago, beginning of what was a big facelift for the defense. Michael Bennett anchoring the Legion of Boom pass rushes. Ernest Jones, love his name, love when he makes a play. That trade, who even talked about it when it happened? It was like the least talked about thing. Do they have a Lombardi without him? They do not. So, John Schneider, I'd like to give you a noogie and mess up that hair. Like the Grizzly, he should be in like a, what he could be in, Hamilton? I feel like he could be in that show like Alone, where they take you out into the wilderness and they like see how you could survive. Like, I feel like John Schneider would crush that kind of a show. He looks like a guy who just wants to go to a Pearl Jam concert. He's just, there's a lot of flannel in his off season. I've never met him. I don't know him. I don't know him at all. Maybe I've met him. I've met him, I don't know him. I have no like contact with him. And I don't need any. It's like, don't meet your heroes vibes, because like, what do we do with him with that resume that we just showed? And it isn't even counting what he did. I mean, what did he do with the Packers?
Yeah, I mean, he was a scout that helped build up that Brett Favre, Reggie White Packers Super Bowl team. He has a ring from that. And he doesn't have a ring because it happened in the first year after he left the Packers, but he really helped construct that roster that Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl with too. So when you really look at the entire body of work of his career, he's one of the best personnel men I think that we've ever seen.
Right. So is that like, that's a statement. What do we do with him? What do we do with John Schneider? So Rodgers Super Bowl roster, obviously Favre, Reggie White squad, and what he's done, like what you just saw as far as talent, turnover, building, that defense is insane. And the signing that took balls.
Yeah.
Some of these guys, and the values, all things considered, where do you think he stacks up all time? That is my question for everybody out there